is up, YouTube? Mr. King coming at you live from the studio. Here are the questions for the day. Please pause the video now and answer them. Next, today you should be able to explain what chemistry is and why chemicals are not scary. So, how I do my notes, I basically divide them in half. I give you what we're learning about today, and then on the left side is called teacher input. So it's basically like your answer, and then on the right side, you'll find a picture or give me an example. I'll show you. So after you turn in your bell work, first turn it in. It was due today. And then go to Friday, chemistry intro notes, and then pull up Cornell notes. It should look something like this. Put your name on it. And then as I go, please fill out the answers on this side. So like I'll ask you, what are atoms? And then it'll give the answer, and then you'll find a picture. I'll show you. So the first thing, atoms. Atoms are the building blocks of the entire universe. Everything in our universe is made of these little spheres of matter. And chemistry, we're learning about these atoms. That's what they look like. This is a picture of one. This is a cartoon of one. These are a lot more common, but with a very, very powerful microscope, you might be able to get a picture. And think of it as like Legos. Let's say like your body is a Lego set. These atoms are like a very small Lego piece. So then in the notes you'd say, atom is a building block for everything in the universe. Even like the air you breathe, you're breathing in oxygen atoms. And then to get a picture, just look up on Google, atom. I like to look up real, like a real one, instead of a picture. And then right click, copy, and then paste it. You can use my pictures if you want. I just prefer you get your own though. Next, common atoms. So the main atoms that you're going to hear again and again, humans are made of mostly carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. Those are the three most common to us. So I want you to think, what contains hydrogen and oxygen and is blue all over? Try and think. You may have heard that humans are made up of 70% of water. That's what they mean. So we have water, 2 parts hydrogen, one hydrogen, another hydrogen here, then an oxygen atom all together. Water is in our skin, in our bodies, in our blood, in our cells. Water is all over, and it's all over the earth, and it's really important for life. And that's all made of 3 different atoms, 2 hydrogens, and then 1 oxygen. And then we also are carbon-based organisms, so we're made of carbon too. Next, I need you to know what a molecule is. A molecule is a combination of atoms. So it's basically like an O with an H and another H, or 2 H's together, or 2 O's. Those are all molecules. So the difference in atom is just one little atom, whereas a molecule is a combo, different ones. The world is made up of mostly water molecules that are bonded to each other. So this H with the O and then the other H, that's a molecule. Try and think. So the difference between an atom and a molecule, atoms are singular. An atom is just one thing. Like here's a hydrogen atom and here's an oxygen atom. But a molecule is a combo. It's multiple. So that could be 2 of the same atom. That would be a molecule, like 2 O's, 2 oxygens, 2 H's or 2 hydrogens, 2 N's, 2 nitrogens, or it could be different ones like H2O, that's a molecule, CH4, methane, 1C, 4 H's, that's a molecule, CO2, that's also a molecule. Also, another difference that you may be curious to know, atoms, they're singular and they're also very hard to break. So this hydrogen and this oxygen is very hard to break down, whereas molecules are much easier to break. So like this Lego piece, that consider that an atom. And then this Millennium Falcon is like the molecule. This Lego piece would be really hard for you to break, whereas a Millennium Falcon, this would be a lot easier. All you would have to do is drop it. And it's a lot similar with atoms. Atoms, you'd have to put a ton of energy into breaking, whereas a molecule, you break molecules all the time. Every time you mix salt and water or chocolate and milk, you're breaking those molecules and making new ones. Kind of like a Lego set. You can rearrange the pieces, but it's very hard to break the blocks themselves. Next, element. An element is a type of atom. It's like a special atom. So there are a bunch of different types of atoms. So like hydrogen and oxygen are very common elements. And if you look up element online, you'll get something that looks like a table. This is all the different elements in the universe. As far as we know of, all the different atoms are in this table. There are like 180 different atoms in the universe, and they're all elements. They're all in something called the periodic table. Okay. So elements are types of atoms. Molecules are multiple atoms. You may have heard of elements before in a show called Avatar or another movie. Elements are only a type of atom. So earth, wind, water, and fire, those are all molecules. Those aren't elements. Earth is made up of a combination of silicon, oxygen, and aluminum. Silicon and aluminum are metals, which is why she can bend metal, but it's not an element, it's a molecule. Fire is CO2, water is H2O, and then air or wind is oxygen, O2, oxygen gas, nitrogen gas, N2, and then CO2 or carbon dioxide. So these were all a combination. They're not elements themselves, it's just a combination of elements, otherwise known as molecules. It's just that molecules doesn't sound very cool. Element sounds a lot cooler, so that's why they call them elements. But elements are only one type of atom. Next, chemicals. A chemical is the same thing as a molecule. It's just atoms bonded together. That's what a chemical is. That's what a molecule is. Now, you've heard a lot about chemicals probably. I want you guys to think about this. Some people say, I don't trust vaccines. There are chemicals in there. I want you to think, what is this person forgetting about chemicals? Hint, where are chemicals? Like water is a chemical, salt is a chemical, oxygen gas is a chemical. My point was, chemicals are everywhere. Everything is a chemical. Chemicals are everywhere and they make up everything. So even though vaccines contain chemicals, that shouldn't be a big deal because chemicals are everywhere. They make up everything. There are harmful chemicals, sure, like poison, but there are also good chemicals like water, what you need to survive. Okay, and then at the very end, I'd like you to write a summary of what you learned today. In your summary, it needs to be 2 to 4 sentences long, and you need to answer what did you learn today and use these words: chemistry, atoms, and molecules. Yep. Once you did your summary and you have all the boxes filled out, you're all good. You can hit turn in on the notes and then take this attendance survey just to make sure I mark you present. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with me the whole time. Have a great day. Bye.